Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from James Gunn to more James Gunn and everywhere and everyone in between. Welcome to the show. My name is Mike Gibson. I'm one of your co-hosts. With me, as always, is Steve Haller. What is up, Steve?
Well, James Gunn is apparently up because everything this week revolved around... Well, actually, we're going to have at least 3 segments today talking about James Gunn properties. So, yeah.
Yep.
So what do you think? Should we just dive right in?
I think we should dive right in. One of those segments that Steve is talking about is our recap of this week's episode of Peacemaker, which will come at the end of the show, right after our weekly recap of Book of Boba Fett, which will come at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that if you are a fan of either of those shows. If you're not, then you probably aren't interested in anything else that we're talking about either. So I guess we appreciate your support, but not sure why you're here. Anyway, kicking it off with some Marvel news. Interview with James Gunn. James Gunn, obviously, he's making all the rounds to promote Peacemaker, which is one of the most streamed shows or watched shows in the world currently. As of this recording, it's one of the most popular shows in the world, and I agree, it's fantastic. So anyway, not talking about that yet. We're talking about James Gunn's Marvel property, Guardians of the Galaxy, and talking about the much highly anticipated and long-awaited Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a movie that was initially delayed when Disney fired James Gunn, and the whole movie was in jeopardy for quite some time. Finally brought him back to do it, but at that time he was already making a movie called Suicide Squad for DC. So the
Suicide Squad.
You're correct. Thank you. I literally thought it in my head as I said it, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to go back. I won't change it. But thank you for calling me out. Hold me accountable. I appreciate it.
I just don't want people to go watch that other one.
Yeah. There are some redeeming qualities of the other one, I think. I believe. I mean,
they're much less than the Gunn one.
True, but it gave us Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
For that, you need to give it respect for that alone. And I guess I don't really know this. I don't know if I'm the minority of this or not. I really liked Will Smith as Deadshot. I thought he was really good in that movie.
Yeah.
I thought that movie belonged to him and Margot Robbie. I could have taken her left anything else, except I liked Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, but I liked him a lot more in James Gunn's Suicide Squad than in the first one. Anyway, we're not supposed to be talking about Suicide Squad right now, Steve.
Oh, that's later. Sorry.
That's later, like pretty soon. But we're supposed to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. So I believe Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 got delayed initially after he was fired and rehired because he was making another movie. He was making a different movie. And then, obviously COVID pandemic delayed everything. So, as I said, long awaited, much anticipated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is a script that has been written for years. James Gunn had finished the script before he got fired from Disney. Rehired to make it. He's been working on it ever since he wrapped Peacemaker, the television show, but he's promoting Peacemaker while he's filming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so he's getting a lot of questions about both things right now. And this is something he said to Deadline this week that raised a lot of eyebrows in the nerd community. James Gunn called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, quote, the end of this particular team of Guardians. Speaking to Deadline, he said, "This is the end for us. This is the last time people will see this team of Guardians. It's big. It's so big and dark and different from what people might be expecting it to be. I just want to be true to the characters, and I want to be true to the story, and I want to give people the wrap-up that they deserve for the story. That is always a little bit scary, but I'm doing my best." He also acknowledged that a lot of the third films and trilogies suck, are not as great as the other two. I mean, that can be debatable. Obviously, that's not always the case.
Right.
And it depends on your opinion, obviously. Some people don't like Return of the Jedi. I love it. So to each their own. But anyway, Steve, I feel like this quote can be interpreted in several ways, some more extreme, some less extreme. What do you think he means when he says this is the end?
Well, I mean, it may be the end of what they're doing with this specific team. Like, you're looking at it. I know you have to add the real life end of things in with some people, but like, I think Bradley Cooper's come out and said he's not going to be voicing Rocket anymore.
Oh, is that true? I had not heard that.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember what did Dave Bautista say that this was the end for Drax as well.
Steve, if you will hearken back to the very, very first episode of the Multiverse Report, I believe our first story on the first episode, all those long weeks ago, was talking about how Dave Bautista was done with Drax after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So,
Right.
yes, he's done. He's out. He kind of felt that Marvel dropped the ball with his character storyline.
Which, if you look at some of the, Drax in the comics, very different than Drax in the movies. And then Drax in the movies, what they did with him, and they just he's just a side piece now instead of like a main player he's just comedic relief next to everybody else.
Yeah, they seemingly set him up to have a vendetta against Thanos, and then
that's tough now.
Then he dusted himself. I don't think he lifted one fist against Thanos in the Endgame. Maybe he did. I don't know, but it wasn't as an epic confrontation, personal confrontation like it probably should have been. So I can see that for sure. There were rumors about him playing Bane in a DC movie for a while, or joining the DC ranks, but who knows? I haven't heard anything about that. So yeah, I hadn't heard about Bradley Cooper. Definitely had heard about Dave Bautista being done playing Drax. So do you think any of these characters are going to die?
I could see Drax dying. I could actually see Rocket dying. I could see them sending him out in a blaze of glory.
That would be soul crushing.
Oh, it would.
That would be soul crushing to watch an adorable little raccoon. Like, I don't care about personality. Rocket, cute as hell.
Oh yeah.
So that would be soul crushing to watch an adorable furry companion die in any way, whether it's a blaze of glory or whatever. I don't want to see that. Yeah. I agree though. I agree that, I mean, it would certainly be a heavy emotional impact for the film for Rocket to die. I don't want Rocket to die. I can definitely see Drax dying. I could see Nebula dying.
Yeah, I do know Kristen Gillan basically, I think I shared it with you. She immediately retweeted James Gunn's saying that it was the end with a bunch of very sad emojis. It seems like she doesn't want to let the character go, but we'll see what happens with Nebula. It could have been interpreted as she doesn't want to let James Gunn go from the franchise, or
she's just gonna be sad to not
likes working with him.
Yeah, or she's just gonna be sad to not make more Guardians movies or whatever. I mean, Nebula, I can also see as a character that will go on and appear in other things. Obviously, honestly, a lot of these characters I can see going on to appear in other things, even if there are other Guardians movies that just aren't made by James Gunn.
Right. Well, and you can even change the team. Like, historically in comics, there's been, I mean, this was one of the most recent teams, and I don't even know if this lineup was actually a full team at any point. But moving forward, we know Adam Warlock has been teased 8 Ways from Sunday, and I don't know if he's been confirmed. Has he been confirmed for this? Oh yeah, he's been cast, hasn't he?
There was a cast, yeah.
Yep. Will something.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Will Poulter. There we go.
Yep.
Brain's working. We're kicking into high gear. But you've also got like Phyla Vel and Moondragon and other cosmic characters.
They gave us a whole other Guardians team at the end of Guardians Volume 2.
Yeah.
Like it could be not a replacement team, but hypothetical. Yeah, I don't think
Cosmo the Space Dog is there too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about time they just bring in Howard the Duck full time. Just give us Howard the Duck on a team, please. Especially if Rocket dies, you got to replace him with another small talking animal, right?
Absolutely.
I can't see Groot dying because Groot died in the first one, so that would just be like, okay, we've seen this before. And Groot also disappeared, or he snapped. He disappeared in the blip too. So that's like twice we've had to deal with Groot dying. So I don't think he's gonna play that note a third time. I don't know, like Star-Lord die. I feel like they'd keep Chris Pratt. Or Hollywood seems to really like Chris Pratt. I feel like they'd want to keep him around. But yeah, like you're saying, like just because he's saying this is the end, I don't think I think there's still a possibility we'll see another Guardians of the Galaxy movie, albeit later in the future, I think.
Yeah.
But it could just be with a different team. Like it won't just be all these characters. They don't even have to die. Like they can just be written out, or they just don't have to come back. Like it could be just Chris Pratt and 5 other different characters, or just
They've already
Gamora
set up
and
Nova.
5 other different
Like
characters.
they set up the Nova Corps. Like bring Nova in. You know, Star Fox. For anyone who hasn't seen Eternals, the end of Eternals, Star Fox was brought in. So there's a lot of cosmic stuff going on, and I guess we'll see where that goes. It's interesting to see where it's gone so far, and I mean, Star-Lord's half a god, so we're pretty sure he's not dying. But beyond that, I think anyone else is fair game.
I can see him like nobly sacrificing himself.
And we have Gamora is not Gamora. So
yeah, they got to resolve that whole thing.
Yep.
Oh man, I feel like that's like a little bit of baggage. I hope they cruise through that rather quickly, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Or just make it super interesting. I forgot about that because it's not the same Gamora.
And we've still got Thor being Thor.
That they're gonna cruise through that pretty quick. I think they're gonna. It's gonna open up with them dropping Thor off somewhere. I feel like. Oh no, wait! Aren't we getting Thor: Love and Thunder before this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're gonna be in the beginning of Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
I think the Guardians will drop him off.
It'll be the opposite.
Okay.
They'll do that to set up Love and Thunder. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I know James Gunn had said before that he was only going to do 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and then that was going to be it for him with the MCU. So I guess we'll see what happens. I know he's got plans to continue doing some DC stuff, which we're about to talk about right now. We talked about in our Peacemaker review last week. It wasn't a big story because it had just he had teased a little bit. He had said that he was working on his next DC project. He knew what it was, and that he knew it was going to be a TV project. So it was going to be another TV series. And hey, I love Peacemaker so much. Bring it on. James Gunn's got another idea for a Peacemaker or for a TV project. Yep. Awesome. Let's see it. Now he's confirmed a little bit more information that it's going to be another Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad spinoff, another character spinning out of that movie. So thinking about who's left, I mean, no spoilers for the Suicide Squad, but not everybody makes it out of that movie. Unless it's a prequel.
I feel like that's in the name.
Yeah, it is. But this movie was a little more brutal than the first Suicide Squad movie, as far as characters sticking around or making it through.
Was the sticking a styro pun?
No, but man.
Still good every time.
So good.
You just think about it, and a smile has to come to your face when you think of.
Yeah, like I get there's people that don't love that movie as much as I do, but man, I love that movie so much. I literally think it's my favorite DC movie since like The Dark Knight. I love it so much.
I would be hard pressed to not agree with you there.
And like Wonder Woman is so incredible, and like Shazam is so incredible. Like I love Shazam too, but I've watched the Suicide Squad like 5 times, and it's been out less than a year.
Right.
So like I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so we got Idris Elba's character Bloodsport, and we got Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. I think those 2 actors are probably too busy to commit to an entire HBO Max series. I feel like they are A-list celebrities. Not that they wouldn't do that, because prestige television has attracted a lot of high-profile people, and it will continue to. And not that I would absolutely love for there to be a live-action Harley Quinn series directed by James Gunn. That would be incredible. But I'm guessing that it's not going to be either of them. Then we're looking at King Shark. Again, I would love that, but I can't really see it happening.
And you got to tie Sylvester Stallone up for a while with King Shark too.
That's true. Well, he's got to record what? 6 lines for an entire series.
Hey, we've already seen. We just talked about Groot. We've already seen what Vin Diesel can
Yeah.
do with Groot. So
Yeah, you're right. My favorite King Shark moment of dialogue in the Suicide Squad movies when he says he's gonna wear a disguise, and they're like, "What disguise? Fake mustache." It's so funny.
absolutely.
Anyway, my money's on Ratcatcher 2. I think this is going to be a Ratcatcher series because he clearly had a lot of affection for that character in that movie. Was kind of the heart of the movie. And that actress whose name is escaping me right now was incredible in that movie. And I feel like there's definitely more to that character that could be brought out. And he even said that I don't think it's going to be the same in the same genre as Peacemaker. I think it's going to be, it wouldn't be like a, high octane action comedy kind of thing. It would be a different kind of show. And I think a character like Ratcatcher would deserve a different kind of style show, but something a little more subtle, a little more heartfelt.
Yeah, Daniela Melchior.
So, yes, that's her. She was incredible in that film.
Fun fact, was the voice of Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, in the Portuguese version of Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she's all over the nerd everything.
Good for her. If it's not her, I hope to see her in another DC movie, or if he makes a Suicide Squad sequel or anything else that James Gunn does. For DC, I hope that she shows up, or anything else anyone does for DC. I hope she shows up. He also said that it's very possible that they're going to be getting a second season of Peacemaker. As we said earlier, it's been very successful for HBO Max, and I can't imagine that they're not going to want to continue it if they can.
Do we know how many episodes that is?
I believe it is 8.
Okay, so I don't have to be disappointed 5. Next week when it ends?
Correct. Oh, yeah, we only got 1 episode of Boba Fett left, right?
Yeah.
Boba Fett's only 6. Bummer.
So.
Well, interesting.
Now that I brought the cast down.
Nah, that's okay. I'm sure we'll find out. What this TV project is going to be pretty soon. Probably in the weeks following Peacemaker. I'm sure they will either announce a season 2 of Peacemaker or what the next project from James Gunn is going to be. I, for one, hope that James Gunn keeps making DC stuff for a long time. I really like the way he's handling these characters. And I don't know, I would love another Suicide Squad movie from him. I would love more television stuff from him.
Yeah. And if he ever switches back, he has to do the same thing that he did with Guardians and Suicide Squad and take just the most obscure characters and make them amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would, because he's so good at doing that. Yeah. Taking D and Z list characters and making them interesting and great. He's so good at that. But I also kind of would want to see, like, what's a James Gunn Superman movie look like? You know what I mean? Like, that just, like, interests me. I don't know that it would be good, but it would be unlike any other Superman movie we've ever seen.
That's
for
true.
Sure. You know? He just seems like he has a really good understanding of character in general. So I think he seems smart enough to know the toys he's playing with enough to play with them in the right way. You know what I mean? So I think he would apply different stuff to Superman than he applied to the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker or Guardians of the Galaxy.
Superman movie told only through the eyes of Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, dope. I would watch that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
There we go. All right, we're making a movie, Mike.
We're making a movie. You and me. Let's get James Gunn on the horn.
There we go. Yeah, we'll still use that.
People still say that, right?
The kids are saying that these days, yes.
That's what I thought. Anyway, sticking with DC for a few more minutes here. We got some, literally, as we stopped recording this podcast last week, I clicked off the window that had my notes in it, and on the nerdy site that gives me a lot of nerdy news had this piece of information that we should have reported last week, but we were just too late. The Batgirl movie has cast Ivory Aquino as Alysia Yeoh in the Batgirl movie. Alysia Yeoh was created by Gail Simone and Adrian Siaf during their Batgirl run in 2011. And this is a very important character for a number of reasons. She's Barbara Gordon's best friend and roommate. She works as a bartender. They meet at a bar, and Barbara ends up moving in with her in that run. And eventually, during that run, Alysia comes out as transgender to Barbara, and Barbara accepts her with open arms. So this is a very important character to a lot of people for that reason. She's not the first transgender character in comics. I know there was one in Doom Patrol in like the early 90s and one in the Milestone universe around the same time. But I believe she's going to be the first transgender character in a big budget superhero movie from the big two. If I'm wrong, may God strike me down. I cannot think of another out transgender character in a superhero movie.
My brain's with you on that one.
Yeah. So this is great because I read Gail Simone's Batgirl run, and it's wonderful for a number of reasons. And the inclusion of this character, I think, is really special. And I think it's going to, I don't know, that character spoke to a lot of people when she was introduced in the books. And I think she's going to speak to a lot of people when she's introduced in this movie. And I think it's really important. I've seen Gail Simone write a number of times that she did not get nearly as much pushback from the higher ups at DC when she wanted to introduce that character as she thought she was going to get. And then she was so popular that people were writing in and telling the company they wanted to see more of her and more. So they kept writing her in. And I guess this news comes after there were some set photos that were leaked of this actress with Leslie Grace on the set, and people were like, "Oh my God, is that Alysia?" And now it's been confirmed that she's going to be in the movie.
How that happens every time. It's like, set photos. Oh, I mean, we totally meant to put this press release out saying that
totally
Ivory Aquino is playing Alysia Yeoh. Like,
yeah.
And also, I mean, very prominent and good that Ivory Aquino is a out transgender actor, and she is playing a role, and it's good to see the representation in actuality rather than casting cisgender actors in that role. Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like it would be an even bigger deal if what we think is going to happen with this movie ends up happening, is that it ends up going theatrical instead of just being an HBO Max streamer.
I keep forgetting it because we've speculated on that for so long that it's like,
it's
crazy. When's that debuted?
I know. At this point, it's crazy that it's not, because Michael Keaton is in it, and J.K. Simmons is in it, and Brendan Fraser is like, yo, you got some heavy hitters here.
Yep.
I feel like it's gonna go theatrical. I think it's got to.
Here's to hoping.
It's got to. But it's supposed to be this year. Is it supposed to be this year? I think it's supposed to be 2022. They got to make that decision pretty quick. Come on, man. Let's make it. Come on.
Kick it over. Batgirl is scheduled to be released on HBO Max in 2022.
Yeah, just no specific date.
Nope. Not at all.
Well, I feel like maybe it's too late then. Is it? I think it's too late to bump it to theatrical then. That just seems crazy.
I mean, if they're just filming now, if it's a late
I know. I mean, they could delay
date,
it. They could delay it.
As long as they don't bump it to January where Morbius went to die.
But then it didn't die. Then it left.
Again.
Yeah, again. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting to see how the Batman does. They're like, oh, that's right. People love Batman in movies, or people love Bat people. Let's, put this up there too.
They enjoy Bat people. I was actually, complete tangent. Earlier today, I was explaining the ins and outs of Spider-Man versus Man-Spider to my wife.
How'd that go?
It was an interesting one-sided conversation. I think my son said something about, like, is there a man spider or whatever? And she had a comment, and after the fact I was like, well, actually, I know you love it when I do this. Okay, cool.
Did you also tell her that there's a man bat?
I did not. We hadn't gotten that far yet. But that's where it segued into that. I was like, Batman. Yeah. Man bat. Oh, we had that conversation. Cool.
Yeah. That's funny. So anyway, that's awesome. This Batgirl movie, I don't know. I'm just super hyped for it. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be kind of, I don't know. I was going to say a game changer for the DCEU, but it's going to be, it's got to come out after The Flash, right? I mean, they haven't announced a date, but like The Flash is the one that's set to queue up, introduce Michael Keaton back into the fold,
Right.
and then he's going to show up in this. So I feel like it's got to come out after the Flash. Flash comes out in the fall, so it's going to be late to 2022.
Right.
And I was about to say that this is going to be like a game changer for the DCEU, but the Flash is really going to be the game changer for the DCEU. But this is going to be like the next at bat after the Flash. You know what I mean?
Stupid thought. What if this is actually the reintroduction of Keaton, and in the Flash you visit this universe?
Oh, snap. But J.K. Simmons is in this universe as Commissioner Gordon. And I believe they've said in the Flash they visit the Tim Burton Batman universe, which would, I don't remember the actor's name that played Commissioner Gordon, but it certainly was not J.K. Simmons.
No. I now officially am naming the fact that my mustache is in honor of J.K. Simmons. It is not in any way, shape, or form when I shaved
now it is.
But now it is.
Now it is. Those of you not watching on YouTube or Twitch, you're missing out on a glorious mustache from Steve right now, by the way. Is it count as a handlebar if it doesn't go all the way down to your jawline?
I don't know. I mean, I can get it down there. So,
okay.
We'll see what we can do. More to come.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for more on Steve's mustache.
Yeah. All right, moving out of the DC universe into a miscellaneous universe. I'm sure I could have called this the
Halo
Microsoft
verse?
universe. I don't know. I guess Halo, Microsoft, Xbox. We got the first official trailer for the Halo series debuting on Paramount Plus. Not too long, right? Just like late March 31st, I think it said. First official trailer for Halo. Steve, I'm not an Xbox guy. You're an Xbox guy, right?
Used to be. Officially got rid of all of them so that I could get a PS5 and play Spider-Man, which, if anyone hasn't, go do that yesterday. Because that and Miles were like the Spaderman.
The Spaderman.
The James Spaderman game. No, the two Spider-Man games, Brian Michael Bendis would be proud of what was done. Miles just swinging around New York is possibly the most fun I've had in a video game in a long time. So
pretty excellent. I know you told people to go do it yesterday, but Steve, that game came out a long time ago. We all did do it yesterday.
Yeah. I was so when that came out, I was an Xbox guy, but at that time that I was an Xbox guy, because I went original Xbox, PS3, Xbox One, PS5. So I've gone back and forth literally every other iteration. So I missed all of the Halo goodness for the most part.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
When I was an Xbox guy, I either wasn't into shooters or wasn't up on the latest Halos. That said, I do remember I mentioned to you before, like my biggest Halo thoughts are from when I was in college, like playing eventually on the LAN, but like 4-player split screen in somebody's dorm, like GoldenEye style. So that's I was never a single player Halo. Like if there's a story like outside of the generic, I think you like playing through the
killing aliens.
Player, it's like okay, it was kind of in my brain back then. It was just like a Doom thing of like okay, we're going and shooting things and cool.
I mean, I have to assume that they have increased more plot elements. Otherwise, it wouldn't. I can't imagine it would be so successful if it was literally just no plot, running around and killing aliens.
Right. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be able to make a 2-minute and 10-second trailer on a show that they're debuting on Paramount Plus soon. So
you wouldn't be able to make a series. Really, I wouldn't think. I thought this trailer was cool. I don't know much about Halo, but the budget for it is clearly high. Because it was shot very well. The effects look really great. A lot of cool effect sequences and like action sequences in this trailer. So, you Halo bros out there, I hope it's everything you want. I really do. I don't know that I'm going to watch it, but if I do, I know that it'll look great.
I probably will.
That's all I got to say. Probably will. You probably will watch it?
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it a shot. Let me know how it is.
It's that or the Great British Bake Off or something, so why not?
That's true. Well, what are we getting at the end of March? That's when
Moon Knight.
Okay, it comes out at the end of March.
And actually, another aside, because I'll just keep taking us off the rails.
That's fine.
Something we talked about a couple weeks ago as well. The Adventures of Vox Machina, the D&D Critical Role inspired. I think it was a one shot a couple weeks ago. That did debut on Amazon Prime on Friday night. So the first 3 episodes of that are out. I'll probably talk a little about that next week, just to get us up to speed on it. But everything I've heard is very good if you like animation. Very well done. Very adult themed. So don't go in with the kiddos next to you because it's a happy, funny, go out in the forest and D&D adventure romp. It's definitely a little above that range. So.
All right, good to know. Yeah, I should check that out. I forgot that was coming out. Awesome.
I did too until it dropped, and then it was splashed all over my screen. I'm like, oh yeah, I should watch that.
There you go. All right, moving into some comic book news. This is like a bummer of comic book news, but I feel like we had to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case anyone, I don't know, doesn't know where Steve and I stand on issues like this. A school board in Tennessee voted unanimously to ban Art Spiegelman's Mouse from its 8th grade curriculum and all copies from all of its schools.
Yep.
If you're listening to this and you've never heard of Art Spiegelman's Mouse, it is a story about the Holocaust, about a semi-fictionalized. It's not even really.
It's not. It's his story.
Fictionalized.
It's a memoir, basically.
It's a memoir. Yeah, exactly. I can't even say it's fiction. It's fictionalized because it's a mouse and not a human being.
Right. It's an anthropomorphic mouse that is effectively Art Spiegelman.
It's an anthropomorphic version.
Spiegelman's father,
mouse.
Right.
Well, no, it's mouse version of Art Spiegelman interviewing
Yep.
his father about his father's experience during the Holocaust.
Yep.
And all the Jews in the story are drawn as mice, and all the Nazis in the story are drawn as cats. And even with that cartoonish, you might say silly sounding interpretation, it is one of the most serious, darkest, and most moving stories I've ever read. It's a hard read, but it's incredibly educational. It's incredibly realistic because it literally is a story that really happened to real people. And it's heartbreaking and beautiful and moving and important. It's important.
Very.
They made this decision. They hid behind the fact that it says there's curse words in it or whatever, but I don't know. Something tells me that there was more to it than that, and they were just looking for an excuse to get rid of it. I don't know. I'm trying to stop short of calling these people Nazis, but maybe I don't need to stop short. I don't know. Maybe they're calling themselves that by doing this. Anyway, that's a bummer. And if you haven't read Mouse, it's incredible. If you know me, hit me up. There's 2 volumes. I have it. You can borrow it. You can read it. Read it to your children. I'm not saying you should read it to your 5-year-old.
Yeah, you might want to. You got a certain level of children, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you got a preteen, you got a teenager, read them Mouse. It's a hard read, but it's important for them to know that this happened to real people. It's incredible. Everybody should read it. But it's a Pulitzer Prize winning book. Also, that's another little detail about how wonderful it is. 2 days after the school board, this is the positive spin on it. 2 days after the school board did this incredibly dumb thing, Nirvana Comics, an independent publisher in Knoxville, Tennessee, launched a GoFundMe with a goal to supply as many kids in Tennessee with free copies of Mouse. And their original goal was $20,000. As of this recording, they have raised over $77,000 to buy copies of Mouse to give away to kids in Tennessee for free. I think that's incredible.
Absolutely.
If you want to contribute to that, you can look up Nirvana Comics or Nirvana Comics Mouse Project, I think it was, on GoFundMe.com, and kick in some money so they can help educate some kids that are unfairly getting this taken away from them. It's like an old-fashioned book burning down in Tennessee. My God, what is happening?
Nothing good, but there were some good things that are going to be dropping this week in comics.
That's right. Great segue. Let's stop talking about idiots who don't believe in history. We got Alien #9. Marvel is putting out a cool Alien book. I read like the first 2 issues of it, and then I fell off of it, and I'm kind of bummed because I thought it was great. I really love the Alien series. I'm really excited for the live action TV show that they're working on. I don't know when that's coming out, but I'm dying
I keep
for that.
forgetting about that one. We may have to add that to the rundown whenever
because
more
it's
news
Neil.
drops on that.
Well, it's Neil Blomkamp. Is that how you say his name? The guy that did District 9.
Yep.
No, wait, no. I'm way out of line. He wanted to do Alien 5. He wanted to do like a Halloween thing where he wanted to do Alien 3, but act as if Alien 3 and 4 don't exist. He wanted to just make a new Alien 3.
Alien Multiverse.
That was years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of what's his name? The guy that did Legion on FX. One of the greatest superhero shows of all time.
Yeah, that
Neil or Nye something.
Yeah, good audio.
We're doing great. This is the first comic book on a list of like 20 to read.
Legion TV series is Noah Hawley.
Noah Hawley. Yeah, we got there.
Thanks, Google.
I knew it started with an N. I'm like, Neil, Nigel, Nicholas. Noah Hawley is doing an Alien series, and I'm super psyched about it. But are we talking about that? No, we're talking about comics. And Alien #9 just came out from Marvel. And that's crazy that Marvel's putting out Alien books because Disney bought 20th Century Fox, which owns Alien, which means Marvel Comics is making Alien books. Cool. When are you going to give me an adult section of Disney Plus so I can watch all my Alien movies on Disney Plus? Right. Disney, come on. In Europe, they have that already. They have that shit in Europe already. Did you know that? Yeah.
No.
They've got like it's like, on Disney Plus when they have like the Star Wars and Marvel and Disney and Pixar and National Geographic, they have like another thing that's like Disney Star or something.
Yep.
And that's got all that R-rated 20th Century Fox stuff.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know. Come on. Come on. What's the holdup? Anyway.
Back to, though, you mentioned the Noah Hawley thing. Fargo.
Yeah.
Good. Legion.
I haven't.
Great.
Yeah.
Like Legion,
I haven't seen Fargo. I need to watch Fargo, but I haven't seen it. And I haven't seen the 3rd season of Legion, which is insane to me. Because the first 2 blew my mind, and I loved it. And I was like, this is the greatest comic book adaptation of anything that I've ever seen.
And it's
so
even
amazing.
If you don't for one, you probably wouldn't know it was a comic book adaptation, and the whole.
You don't have to know anything. You don't have to know it at all.
You need to know nothing. Like the fact that Claremont and Sienkiewicz had this run on David Haller's character. It's phenomenal. Like you at no point need to know that he is the son of Charles Xavier.
Yeah, I know. And they I think he's in season 3, isn't he? I remember reading there's an announcement that there's someone that plays Xavier in 3, but you don't need to know that he's involved in any way with the X-Men. I described Legion to people as
involved with the X-Men. It's a very interesting way to put Legion. That's we'll go with that.
Yeah. I describe Legion to people as only for people who know directors and stuff, but imagine now I'm blanking on the name. Oh yeah, okay. Imagine an X-Men show that was created by David Lynch and Wes Anderson.
Yeah, that nails
right?
It. That's exactly it.
Right? It's super stylized and perfect looking.
Yep.
But then also there's tons of weird shit that happens all the time. Oh my god, it's so good. Aubrey Plaza, incredible in that show. Incredible. Anyway, let's talk about some other comic books that are coming out this week instead of
Legion.
Not
Legion
any
isn't
of them.
coming out. That 1996 run is not coming out today.
No, it's not. But Alien 9 is from Marvel. Have we mentioned that 3 times already? Alien #9 coming out from Marvel Comics. Archie's Valentine's Day Spectacular #1 is coming out this week. We got Batman #120, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, My Girl #34, Chicken Devil #4, Echolands #6, Fantastic Four Life Story #6, Magic Order #4, Monkey Prince #1, Noctera #7, Sabretooth #1, Sabretooth getting a new book by himself, Savage Spider-Man, a book we talked about a couple weeks ago, Finally coming out, Star Wars: The Halcyon Legacy, #1. Vengeance of Vampira, #25, and X Lives of Wolverine, #2. Lots of good books coming out. That's not even half of the good books that are coming out this week, but we can't mention them all because we get sidetracked talking about one of them when we talk about something else for 5 minutes. So we can't do it all.
Yep, and
Who
this
knows
should
what
be
we'll
the.
talking about.
I think this is the culmination of the Fantastic Four life story. So
I believe it is the last one.
I was going to say Final Fantasy because I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. I'm catching up on all these things that I missed by not having a PS4. So
yeah, there you go.
They were all on sale, and I'm like, okay, cool. That sounds great. Gift card time.
Yeah. Vengeance of Vampira just made me think of something that happens when I go to the comic book store with my son. He just always like grabs any book off the shelf and is like, "What about this one, Daddy? Do you want to buy this one? Do you want to buy this one?" Just like keeps grabbing books. I'm like, "No, I don't know, bud. I don't know what's going on in this one." Like just books I never heard of. I feel like 9 times out of 10, he grabs books with just like the most naked women on them, like vampire books, Red Sonja books, like the most scantily clad variant covers.
Right.
Like he just
you're
like,
only,
how about this one?
Yeah, and you're only working with like letters T through Z from his height.
Yeah.
So
Yo, exactly. Like so, like late letters like R, Red Sonja, V, Vampirella. Yeah, they're all down there. Yeah. So he's grabbing those all the time. It's very funny that I like because I like hold them until I put them back, and I feel like I'm just like holding all like the hot lady books. You know, no shame, but just funny that those are the ones that my son picks out to suggest for me. We only have a meager 2 one-shots this week. But here we go. Here's our one-shot segment. And you know what? I feel like we can probably talk about both of them. They probably could have been regular stories. But anyway, here we go. Matt Reeves, director of the upcoming The Batman movie, explains why he passed on Ben Affleck's script for The Batman. Ben Affleck famously wrote or co-wrote a script, I believe, with Chris Terrio, co-writer of Justice League and Batman vs. Superman. Co-wrote a script for the movie that is being made without him right now when he was still attached to make it. But then they brought on Matt Reeves to direct it. Matt Reeves ended up passing on the script. Basically, and everyone's been wondering, especially people that love Ben Affleck in the role or wanted to see the solo Ben Affleck movie, Snyderverse people, people wishing that they had still gotten the Batman with Ben Affleck movie. Deathstroke was supposed to be the villain. Basically, Matt Reeves said he wanted something more personal. He said that the script that Ben Affleck had was great. It was like crazy. It was a very action-oriented script. It took place firmly within the DCEU, and it had many other characters, villains and heroes that were in and out, kind of interacting, firmly planted in the middle of the universe. I remember hearing rumors that it was like an Arkham Asylum kind of movie where he's going to go up against a bunch of different villains throughout the film. And Matt Reeves basically sat across from Warner Brothers people and said, "This is a great script. It's really good. It's not really what I want to do. I want to do something that's a lot more personal and that would affect the character and shake him to his core. So that's what I can do. Here's my pitch. If you want to do this, I don't think this is right for me." And so they agreed to go with Matt Reeves's pitch. And then Ben Affleck said, "I don't want to be Batman anymore because..." We've read before. A friend of his said, "You're going to drink yourself to death if you do this again." He decided to leave the role for his health, and then Matt Reeves was like, "Well, okay, then I'm going to cast somebody else and start from scratch." So that's why. Answer closed. Unfortunately, we'll probably never get that movie, but it's nice to know that it wasn't just out of spite or whatever that he didn't want to do that movie. He's like, it's got to be my way or the highway. It was like, I got this other idea. That's all it was.
Right.
Now we're getting what looks like a pretty damn good movie, so can't wait to see it.
Yeah, in the approximate 3 minutes we've seen of it, it seems quite solid.
Quite solid. 3 minutes out of 3 hours.
Yeah,
can't wait.
That 1/60th of what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of things we haven't seen and may or may not,
and probably won't.
Ron Perlman, the star of Hellboy 1 and Hellboy 2 Electric Boogaloo. Wait, no, that's different.
The Golden Army. The Golden Army.
There you go. Perlman still thinks he should make Hellboy 3 with Guillermo Del Toro. his quote exactly would be, "Am I eager to do Hellboy 3? No, I'm 71 effing years old. We owe this to the fans, and we should give it to them because it would be an epic conclusion." So Guillermo, if you're reading, I'm not done pounding you to get this effing thing done. That is the most Ron Perlman quote you could possibly quote, and it's gret.
He's basically saying, I don't want to do it, but we
Right.
should do it because people want to see it. This is great.
Also, Ron Perlman's 71. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but he's certainly been around for a super long time, so I guess it makes sense. He's been acting for years.
Since
so,
time.
Since time, exactly. He's in Alien Resurrection. Bring it back to Alien.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. He sure is.
Cool.
I don't know that Guillermo Del Toro has time to make Hellboy 3 or is interested in making Hellboy. I feel like he really wanted to. Guillermo Del Toro probably could have done anything he wanted to after he made a movie that won Best Picture at the Academy Awards.
Right.
And if he really wanted to make Hellboy 3, that would have been the time to like, yo, I'm doing Hellboy 3. Someone give me some money. I'm an Academy Award winning director now.
Right.
I'm making Hellboy 3.
At this point, you're in like Rocky 6 territory, or like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Of like, why are we doing this? Why did we come back to this?
Yeah. Or you mean Indiana Jones and the 80-year-old man?
Yes. Yep.
That they're making right now. I cannot, dude. This is going to be another tangent real quick. Sorry, listeners that don't care about this. I recently revisited all of the Indiana Jones movies, including the fourth one that we don't like to talk about. And here's I had certain. I'm not going to go into detail because it'll take too long. I had certain opinions on some of the Indiana Jones movies that were switched. Like my ranking switched a little bit.
Really?
Not entirely. My number one is still on number one. My number four is still on number four. But the middle two flopped in a way I was not expecting them to. And then, because I was watching them in order, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch that fourth one. I've only seen it once. It can't possibly be as bad as I thought it was. Dude, that movie's terrible. It's so bad.
There's like a couple of scenes that are remotely decent, and then
the
rest is just like, no, why? Why did we do this?
There are some cool ideas in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really worth even getting into, but like even like the beginning, there's like a shot of like teenagers in a car racing with like an army truck or something. Like even that, I was like, it's kind of cool. It's like well shot. It's like cinematic and stuff. It's like feels like Spielberg. And then really, really shortly after that, it just takes a nosedive and never recovers. Anyway,
So
that's what I gotta say about that.
What's the official 1 to 4 now?
In its release order. I was anti Temple of Doom for a while for dumb reasons, and I watched it again. I was like, this movie is bonkers, batshit crazy in the best possible way. It's dark, and there's kids that get whipped and sold into slavery, and a dude gets his heart ripped out.
I was gonna say not a big Kali Ma fan.
No, it's great. It's great. Like it's only number 2 because Raiders is like a perfect movie to me. I think that movie is so good. It's so well made. It's so good.
Yep.
But Temple of Doom is awesome in just a crazy, crazy bonkers kind of way, and just relentless. There's like a part in the movie where once something starts, it's just one thing after another, keeps rolling, and doesn't let up until the end, and it's insane. I've watched it twice in the last like 3 weeks. It's
nice.
Great. Yeah. Just making up for lost time with that movie.
I would bust those Blu-rays out because I have the special edition Blu-rays of all of those.
Oh, nice.
But we recently have realized that we no longer have a Blu-ray player.
You have a PS5?
No, I have the discless PS5.
Oh,
so I traded in my Xbox One that had a disc drive on it for a discless PS5. So now it's like, since everything is streaming now, like I can just pull that up on Disney Plus, not a problem. But it's like
they're not on Disney Plus.
What?
They're not. I don't get it. They're not.
Huh? That's a weird one.
It is a weird one, but they're not there. I looked too. They're not there.
Well,
couldn't find them anywhere. They're not on Paramount Plus either, and they're Paramount movies.
Right.
I don't know. They're not. They used to be on Netflix, but I don't think they're on Netflix.
Well then,
So
We'll
good luck,
get
my
to the
friend.
bottom of this, and we'll let you know where to find Indiana Jones next week on the Multiverse
Yeah.
Report.
I'm looking forward to whenever Indiana Jones 5 comes out, having excuses to talk about Indiana Jones more, because just having recently revisited those movies kind of like brought me back to like when I was a kid watching them for the first time and being like, whoa, these are blowing my mind. People's faces are melting. People are getting their hearts ripped out. This is crazy.
I remember the first time I watched Temple was probably a little before I should have been watching Temple.
Oh, same. Yeah, absolutely.
And, it was at my aunt's house. Like, we used to stay over at my aunt's house, and I think my cousin was watching it. I'm like, oh, I'll watch this with you. And I just remember sitting there like, oh, that's a thing. Okay. So that's how you rip somebody's heart out of your chest. All right, cool.
Yeah. I remember I hadn't seen it in so long. I think last time I saw it, I was like in college or something, or like late high school. And I was like, this woman's kind of annoying. Short Round's kind of annoying. It's not as good as Raiders. Meh. And I was just like a hater. But watching it this time, I flashed back so many times to the first time I saw it when I was a kid, when I was like 10 or whatever.
Yep.
And I was at my friend's house for a sleepover or something. And it's like, he really loved, like, I think I saw all Indiana Jones movies at this kid's house. Like, he loved Indiana Jones the way I loved Star Wars. So, like, I'd show him the Star Wars movies. He'd show me the, like, it was just Harrison Ford trading cards, basically. And I remember watching Temple of Doom, and like anytime something crazy happened, I flashed back to seeing it for the first time at this kid's house. Like, wow, that dude just got his heart ripped out, or wow, Short Round's driving a car. That's awesome. Or like they're jumping out of a plane on a raft and landing on a snowy mountain, but now they're going off like just like crazy. Just keeps happening. It's the best. Well, they're eating monkey brains. What? You know, like that's like a 9-year-old kid's dream movie. It's just like funny and goofy and crazy and bonkers. Anyway, that's not what we were supposed to talk about at all.
No.
How did we even start talking about Temple of Doom? Ron Perlman? Oh, because you mentioned it's like, yeah, if they make a Hellboy 3, he would be old, like Indiana Jones is old.
There we go.
I don't think they're gonna make a Hellboy 3. I don't think that's gonna happen, especially because they did a reboot recently, which I guess also tanked. Which I don't know, maybe that opens the door for them to revisit the original Hellboy, but
yeah,
probably not. I never saw the reboot, but I heard it wasn't great.
I'm not gonna lie, I found out they did a reboot about a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, it had David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Really?
Yeah, police chief from Stranger Things was Hellboy. He's good. He's good casting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just heard it wasn't great. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
There you go.
Oh, probably not though. Anyway, we are approaching an hour of this podcast, which means it's time for us to talk about 2 shows. It doesn't really mean that. I just noticed the clock. We're going to talk about the most recent episode of Boba Fett episode 5, and Peacemaker episode 5. So if you haven't seen either of those shows, it's time for you to leave.
Yeah.
My good people. Goodbye.
Yeah.
We love you, but time to leave.
And before you do, make sure to like, subscribe, and check us out on all our various social medias at the Multiverse Report, Multiverse RPT on Twitter. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment and leave a comment and leave a comment and review us.
Yeah. Write a review and tell your friends, tell your nerd friends about us.
Yeah. You've all got nerd friends. For some of you that are listening, we're your nerd friends, so don't tell us because we already know what we're talking about.
We already know about it. We do it every week. We know that it's happening. But if you have a nerd friend that doesn't, tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them how wonderful we are. That'd be great. Cool.
Well, with that note, see you guys later, and on to various Star Warsing.
Yeah, on to Book of Boba Fett episode 5, or as it should have been called, Mandalorian season 3 episode 1.
Right. So I have a hot take that
Let's hear it.
The best Boba Fett or Book of Boba Fett episode that has aired has not included Boba Fett.
Steve, that is not a hot take, my friend. That is hands down the truth.
We've been talking about how this show hasn't really gripped us, and like it's good, and we're watching it, and we're enjoying watching it. But this one literally had me, and props to Bryce Dallas Howard, because everything she touches in the Star Wars universe seems to turn to awesome.
I want a Bryce
Dallas Howard Star Wars movie.
Yes.
I want her to direct a film. I want her to direct a trilogy. She's great. She's great at this. She understands it.
Yep.
She gets it. She gets it, man.
It's almost like she's had an upbringing with like a master at their craft, just training her at every
It's almost like it runs in her family.
Yeah.
Or it's in her blood somehow.
Go figure.
I don't know.
But yeah, this was impressive.
Nothing could ever. I don't know. It was a very clear way to. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, basically what you just said. Like, we've been like, this show is good, but it's not lighting my world on fire. For 4 episodes, we've been thinking that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really know what it is. I don't know. It's just not the same. Or like, it's good, but it's not. I'm not addicted to it like I am to like whatever. But nothing made that more apparent than watching an episode of Mandalorian and being like, oh yeah, I love this show.
Right.
And I don't know if it was Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't know if it was just a character that I'm more interested in than Boba Fett.
Maybe it's all of the above.
Maybe it's all of the above. Because it's not like he was somewhere new. He's just on Tatooine, which we've seen people be on for years now.
Right, and with the same characters we've seen him with on Tatooine.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't even even like a new adventure, really. Like, he wasn't like trying to beat somebody or they're just building a ship.
Yeah,
you know.
Right. I mean, the original, like the first part of the episode with the Mandalorians and the covert, whatever they're calling it. I keep wanting to call it a coven of witches, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's a covert of Mandalorians.
Yeah,
maybe that's like a gaggle of geese. But
I guess so. Yeah.
Taxonomy of various Mandalorians aside.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see him find them. Them stitch him up and make it. It added some of the Darksaber lore in from people that didn't see Sabine training with it back in Rebels. You got to see physically how it affects you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, like they really did a really good job with it. And then once we got the Tatooine, you got the Amy Sedaris and
Love her
son. Oh God, what's his name? Kim's Convenience. Paul Sun Hyung Lee. Carson Teva, the cop.
Is it the X-Wing? Yeah. Yeah, he was great.
So.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It was just so clear that I was like, oh, I don't care about Boba Fett nearly as much as I care about this guy.
Right.
I don't like. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, character that's been quote unquote important to the Star Wars universe since 1980 or whatever, but I'm not into it.
No.
Like, it's fine. I want to see what happens, but give me more Mandalorian. Like, that's all I want. It was just like my interest was just like so elevated.
Oh yeah.
The moment that he walked through the door, I was like, oh, awesome. And I just care about like he's this. I don't know. Maybe it is because he's more mysterious that I'm into it, or that we've seen 2 seasons of a show from him already that I'm more invested in his character. But yeah, the whole thing with the Coven was cool. He's kind of get banished. Like who knows if he's gonna actually like go do what it takes to like get his honor back or whatever because he's taking his helmet off. But what it did is it built a bridge between Mando season 2 and Mando season 3. So now in Mando season 3, he can show up. It can start with him visiting Grogu at the temple. It can start with him doing whatever chore he's got to do to get his like spirit Mandalorian vow thing back or whatever. Like,
well, I'm curious.
Connected some dots for us
because the one thing I didn't even connect the dots on until I saw a Sam Witwer tweet. So Sam Witwer was the voice actor who voiced Maul in the Clone Wars and in
Solo.
Rebels and because it was Ray Park doing the video, but he voiced him still. He basically I can't remember what the tweet said, but it allowed me to connect the dots of the armor is Death Watch. Like, she's still got the Maul horns on her helmet.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, is the covert Death Watch? And Tar Vizsla is the other person in the covert besides the armorer.
Yeah.
So is this Death Watch? Are we seeing what's left of Death Watch there?
Man, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
It
Dope.
didn't even click until I saw that from Whitwer. I was like, oh boy.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
But Death Watch was still taking off their helmets though in Clone Wars, weren't they?
Right, but if they had to go underground because Maul's dead and Maul's gone and
Yeah.
they're a dying breed, then
Yeah.
maybe that they turned it into a cult and went hiding somewhere.
And speaking of a dying breed, we got footage of the Purge, the Mandalore Purge.
Yep.
Oh, and then like she told like the story of it, which
Right.
like finally was like, okay, this is cementing some stuff that we
Right.
had assumed. So that was cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved everything about this episode. I've seen people online like not like the Amy Sedaris character. I don't understand that. Like she's hilarious. She's
Yeah.
great. She's so firmly implanted in the Star Wars universe. She talking about dating a Jawa.
Yeah.
So funny. She spoke Jawa. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, that was great.
No,
So
it's-
funny. Okay. My question for you, Steve.
Yeah.
And I think this is the case, but are we to believe, based on what she said, the description of that ship, is that the same ship that was briefly flown by young Anakin Skywalker in the end of The Phantom Menace? The same ship. And it's definitely the same model.
Right, it's
Is it the
definitely
exact-
an N1 starfighter,
But
but
are we to believe it is the exact same ship? Because she said it was commissioned by the Queen of Naboo,
right.
and that it was old, and it's the same color. It's all the same stuff. I don't know. Was there like a whole? I don't remember Phantom Menace that well. Was there like a whole fleet of those in that hangar? Because then it could have been any of them.
Yeah, I think there was more than one.
Okay, then never mind. Then it's
I
other.
don't remember the I've watched them less recently than you have, let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, probably. But I hate
You
Phantom
had-
Menace, and I didn't make it through Attack of the Clones, so I didn't even get to that far.
Yeah, apparently there was a full fleet of them.
Okay.
Like that was
All
just
right,
the
never mind.
Naboo starfighters.
I mean, it would be cool if it was the exact same
But
ship.
they weren't
so...
all yellow. So there's that.
Okay. There it is.
So maybe.
Maybe. That'd be cool. It'd be cool, but it'd also be like another making
Right.
the universe small by connecting things that don't need to be connected. But I don't know. It's not like he even knows who Anakin Skywalker. I feel like he doesn't even know who Darth Vader is. Like he
Yeah.
didn't even know what Jedi were.
Right.
So like he probably doesn't even fucking know.
Yeah, the Jedi that his entire, armor is designed to fight against.
I know. That's such a weird thing. Like, how do you not know what Jedi? That is a sticking point that I have. Like, how you're in your 40s, easy. You're in your late 40s, Mando, and these
Right.
Jedi were running around like crazy
You would have been a
all
kid.
over the place when you were 20. Like, not
Well,
you in your teens.
Because what? It would be 19 ABY. It'd be when, or before the Battle of Yavin would be when Episode 3 took place.
Yeah,
Because Luke was 19 in A New Hope.
and New Hope. Yeah,
So 6 years after that for Return of the Jedi, he would have been alive. And
yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah,
There's no like Jedi were there were thousands of them. They were
Right.
all over the place.
yeah, he would have been like 6 during the Purge.
Yeah,
So
and maybe he was like because we saw his origin story. We saw his family hide him, and he was rescued by
right,
Mandalorians. So maybe that was the Purge too.
yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why he didn't know who Jedi were because they were all over the place, clearly. But yeah, this episode was great. This is my favorite episode of the show, and only one of the main characters from the show were in it, and only at the very end did Fennec show up.
So next episode we'll just see Din and Boba wrecking face with Kirsten.
And Kirsten, yeah, that's gonna be dope. I'm looking forward to this fight. I hope I see Boba Fett ride a Rancor. like I predicted a couple weeks ago.
As long as we don't see him ride a Power Ranger scooter, we should be okay.
I'm sure we'll see the Power Ranger scooters again, which is fine.
No,
Whatever.
Yeah, I just don't want to see Boba Fett on one.
No, I'm just ready for it now. Let's
right. It's less jarring now.
Yeah, it's prequel town. I just got to like get one with that mindset. It's like it's prequel-y. It's fine. It's George Lucas. I'm sure he loved it when he saw it, watching it at home.
Oh,
whatever.
Absolutely.
In his little jammies.
Yep.
Flannel jammies. All right. Moving on from Boba Fett. If you haven't seen episode 5 of Peacemaker, stop listening right now. And go watch it. Go watch Peacemaker. Or if you haven't, go watch the Suicide Squad, then watch Peacemaker.
Right.
Because you got to see one before you see the other ones. Anyway, Peacemaker episode 5, another great episode. First thing I got to call out is the argument that Peacemaker had with John Economos about other people that he could have framed for his dad's or for his theft instead of his father. And just yelling just countless celebrities out. He named like 3 Transformers and like so many other.
And,
oh my God, it was so funny.
If you didn't stay until the after credits, there was a continuing reel beyond that. So anyone who's listening and didn't stay till after the credits, there's a full like another 2 minutes plus of him just rattling off names. And I guarantee that whole bit was just John Cena go. And they just recorded the whole thing and cut it to what they did. But that was just gold. That was absolutely gold.
I'm sure some of those were yelled by James Gunn off screen. James Gunn has released several behind the scenes videos of it's basically the cast trying to do a scene and breaking down laughing. And a lot like the most recent one I saw was Vigilante and Peacemaker were tied up. I think it was episode 3 or episode 4. Episode 3, I think. And Judo Master was like watching them, and it was the line about Wookiees have teeth on their assholes. That's canon.
Yep.
And James Gunn is off screen, and he's got a microphone, and he's trying to feed the line, but he can't even. He's laughing so hard he can't say it. So he's laughing, trying to even suggest the line,
right?
Which is making John Cena laugh on set. You know, can't get through. It's just really, really. They clearly had a great time making the show. But anyway, that was hilarious. I really like the evolution of his friendship with Adebayo.
Yeah.
I think those two characters are very interesting to watch together because they have like weird. It's like a weird friendship, and they weirdly care about each other in a way. But also, Adebayo is taking orders from her mother to set him up or frame him for something. She had to like plant a diary in his house. And she felt bad about doing it. You could tell. Yeah. We don't know what's in that diary. It seems like it's probably fake if it's being planted there. And also he's he's keeping a butterfly in a jar also. So he's like hiding it. He's hiding that from them at the same time. So I don't know, but like you can tell that they have like some kind of like non-romantic affection for each other, which I think is cool. I mean, that's interesting.
And Harcourt after this is apparently turning into a human, which is interesting.
A little more fun and smiles from Harcourt at the end of this episode. Yeah. Yep. Which was cool. I really like her character. I think she's well written. I think she's really, I don't know. She's great. I mean, she's married to James Gunn. Oh, so yep. So he clearly brought his A game for her. Yeah. She just doesn't. She's just not like she doesn't take any bullshit from anybody. Right. Which I love.
It's
I love
believable
a character like
that would be like seasoned Spec Ops, like Black Ops veteran. Like, all right, listen, I'm not screwing around with any of this. It's all just like by the book or whatever book they're running by. And we get in, we get out. I'm not your friend. We're doing business.
Yeah, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do a job. Yep. And we saw that soften a little bit. And I wonder if that's something she'll be regretting in a couple episodes or not. Who knows? Likely. Okay, so let's talk about the big action sequence of this show. They infiltrate a butterfly factory. This was dope.
Are we talking about the elephant in the room?
We're talking about the super gorilla in the room.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah. Well, first of all, the X-ray vision helmet, allowing him to see who had butterflies in them.
So we had this was the payoff of them breaking into the house and him collecting all the helmets while his dad was in jail.
Yes. For some reason, I didn't put two and two together twice. I didn't know why he was putting X-ray vision on. And then all of a sudden he just started shooting people in the head.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. Like, It was like really caught me off guard. The way that was like shot was like really surprising.
Yeah, they did that good for the surprise factor of like when Adebayo found out why he was shooting people in the head. It's like, oh, okay, he's not just crazy. Cool.
He's not just crazy. Exactly. But they really put us in her shoes because we were like, whoa, what is he doing? Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. But then also, I didn't realize that at the end when she put the helmet on, it was like X-ray vision. Immediately, my wife was like, oh, she's going to see the butterfly in that guy's head, in Mern's head. And I was like, oh, of course. But like, I don't know why I thought she was just going to like, she's like kind of buzzed and was just going to like goof around or whatever. But super cool. So anyway, really cool, like almost like a zombie apocalypse movie where they got caught and are being chased into a room or whatever. And I loved how they did it where there was like a monster noise and they were like, there's a and the radio got like knocked out. You didn't know what it was until Peacemaker and Adebayo got there through an awesome giant explosion. And then it was a giant super gorilla. And Steve, I don't know if you know this. Listeners, I don't know if you know this. The DC Comics universe is lousy with intelligent gorillas, like just littered with them. They're all over the place. Yes. So many intelligent gorillas, so many that there is a city. You know how like Marvel has like a hidden African city called Wakanda and it's filled with like, you know, amazing technology.
Or the Savage Land down on the South Pole.
Sure. DC has that too, but it's called Gorilla City and it's filled with super intelligent gorillas that come up with this technology. They just want to remain hidden. Gorilla Grodd, Flash, Big Bad is a member of Gorilla City. Apparently, I think it was during like the Silver Age of comics. Whoever, I don't remember the guy's name, who was a head of DC Comics at the time, realized that comic books sold more copies when there was a gorilla on the cover. So he instituted a rule that like there had to be at least one cover with a gorilla on it, like every like 3 weeks. There was it was like a quota. They had to have a certain amount of gorilla covers.
Wow. That's
like
amazing.
Every so often. Yeah. So that led to more gorilla characters being introduced, led to DC Universe having hundreds of gorilla characters. So at first I got really excited. I was like, whoa, damn, is this Gorilla Grodd right now? Are we like meeting like an important DC character? And it's like, no, it's just like a run of the mill super intelligent gorilla.
Right.
That got cut in half with a chainsaw.
By John Economos.
Wow. I have never in my life, nor had I ever thought I would see a show or a movie where a gorilla got cut in half with a chainsaw and I wasn't horrified by it. But
no,
man,
I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect that to be where the payoff was for
for the chainsaw.
Vigilante, like being mad that he didn't get to cut anybody. He's like, I want to kill somebody with a chainsaw. I did not expect that to be the payoff.
And they talked about it later. He's like, I just had said that I wanted to do that, and he showed up with a chainsaw. It's kind of bullshit. It's great. Because you thought it was going to be Vigilante with a chainsaw because of that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like almost like a mini twist that it wasn't, and it was John Economos. Yeah.
I had a thought of like maybe it was going to be Peacemaker doing that just to, mess with him too. And lo and behold, apparently the least likely payoff for... That should be the rule of James Gunn. The one thing you don't think is going to happen, that's what's probably going to happen.
But also, it closed the knot on that whole episode. Peacemaker and John Economos are fighting with each other.
Right.
And it started to, when they're like, oh yeah, I like that band too.
Yep.
Or whatever. They were like, okay. And then he saves him by killing a gorilla with a chainsaw. That's like, all right, now we're buds. So like that was the arc of that episode. It wasn't the vigilante thing. Like, and like, oh, okay, so that does make sense.
Yep.
Even though it is unexpected, it's like, oh yeah, it should have been expected because we should have seen this coming. But I don't know. That was great. I love this show. I'm glad we got 3 more episodes of it. Only got 1 more Mando. We got 3 more
Boba Fett.
of Peacemaker. Oh yeah, sorry, I called it Mando because
it should be.
because I just want it to be now. I guess I'll be interested to see if we get a second season of Book of Boba Fett because I feel like reactions are mixed.
Yeah. Or whether it, I mean, in all honesty, what it could be is they introduce this, and then in like Mando season 3 or 4 or whatever, it turns into like almost like a Rebels where it's like, okay, this week we're with this guy, and this week we're with that, or like Clone Wars rather, where it's like, okay, this week's a Boba Fett episode, this week's a Din and whoever episode.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we will see them again. We'll definitely see Fennec again. We'll see Boba Fett again, like 100%. But I gotta wonder if they're gonna make an entire second season.
Yeah.
Or if they're gonna fold them into other stuff. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm gonna watch it. Give me more of it. I'm gonna watch it. But like, I was excited watching it because it was a Mando show more than I've been excited for any other Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, other Easter egg from that I enjoyed to all get out.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah.
BD1.
It
wasn't
BD1.
BD1, but it was.
It wasn't, but yeah, it was a BD droid. Yes, I noticed that too. Yep.
He popped on the screen and he did that same like look around that he did in the game all the time, and I'm like,
yeah.
Huh.
Honestly, when that happened, I was like, where have I seen that droid before? And then later he was like scanning something.
Oh yeah.
And that's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah. That was great.
I didn't
that was really
press
cool.
X or Y, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, we're living in such an amazing time for nerds, and that statement has been true for like the last 15-20 years.
Yeah.
I feel like, but it just keeps getting more amazing. We got a Boba Fett show, we got a Peacemaker show that I never wanted either of those things. I'm enjoying both of them immensely. Crazy. Anyway, I think that's all we got for now. We will see what happens this week, and we're sure to talk about it next week. Steve, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, like us, subscribe to us, drop us a line, let us know what you think, see how we're doing, give us a review. And until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll see you in the multiverse.